friends, Kim from Stamping Imperfection. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm playing with a couple of really beautiful Stampin' Up! Products that I am really not sure what's going to happen to them. The annual catalog is actually retiring at the end of April, and pretty soon we'll find out what products Stampin' Up! Is retiring. And I don't know what's going to happen with these two products, but I do know I love them. And I have not played with them enough, so I pulled them out to play with today. And when I play with stuff like this, I like to make a set of cards, like 5 or 6 cards usually, with envelopes, and then I can either package them up to use them as a gift, or I can send them out as I need them. And the two things I'm playing with here today are, this is the Full of Life, this is called the Full of Life Designer Series paper. It is the 6x6 inch paper, and it is actually really gorgeous paper. I've used a lot of it. I have a lot of strips left, and you can see they're just gorgeous watercolor papers. And you know, it's not watercolor paper, but it's watercolor designs on designer series paper, and I just think they're stunning. They're absolutely stunning, and it's just such a beautiful, happy set of papers. So I've been playing with these and making a few cards. I still have a lot of paper to go, so that's remarkable. I feel like I've made so much with it, but yet when you get a package of 6x6 paper, you actually get 48 sheets of that paper, and usually there are like 12 different designs, and they're double-sided papers, and you get 4 of each, and you get really a great selection. So here is the stamp set I've been playing with. This is the sketched butterflies, and I purchased both of these items when Stampin' Up! Had various sales throughout the year. Like, I got the paper during their designer series paper sale over the summer, and then they had a discount on stamp sets, and I got the sketched butterflies. I just really loved it. It was on my wish list for a long time, so I'm really happy I got it. I really love the look of this. So I want to play with these some more. I have a whole bunch of cards to show you that I've already made, and I've been using the same card layout for all of these cards. So I want to share what that is. It's super simple, and it's pretty easy to put together. So here's how it's going. So I'm going to put 2 of these away here so they don't all roll all over my desk. I've got a whole bunch of twine packages that I use all the time. This is one of those, but I'll save that for later. All right, so here are all the parts I need. I have a piece of basic white cardstock. This is cut at 5.5 by 8.5. I've scored it at 4 1/4, so I'll just give that a nice press with my bone folder. Just like that. So I've got my card base, and the finished size of this card is 4 1/4 by 5.5, so it'll fit in a regular A2 size envelope. That's a regular A2 size card. And I've cut 2 pieces of cardstock, or a piece of cardstock and a piece of the designer series paper. This is what the back looks like. This is what the front looks like. And most of the cards I've made, I actually used this side. This, I believe, is technically the front side. This is the back side. And I decided I wanted to make a couple cards with the back because I really love it. So this is cut at 3.5 by 5.5. I cut a piece of blueberry bushels, which is one of the coordinating colors. Whenever you get designer series paper, one of the things that they always have on the back of the package, they always have a list of the coordinating Stampin' Up! Colors that are used in the paper pack. And I always keep that. I store my designer series paper in these Kato paper organizers. These are the 6x6 ones. I also love the 12x12 ones. I have not seen that they have 8.5 by 11, or I'd be using those too. But I really love these I get these on Amazon. I'll put the link to these below because I find them especially handy. I don't add labels to my 6x6 ones because I do go through this paper pretty quickly, and once this paper is done, because I have this packaging for the back, I don't bother labeling this, so I can use this over and over again. For my 12x12 ones, while I do save the packaging, I do tend to label those. I find that easier to find with the larger packaging, but I can just put another label over the top or peel the old one off. So that works out well for me. So I've got this blueberry bushel. This is cut at 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. So it's just 1/4 inch wider. It's the same length. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. And I really do just use my green glue here, my Tombow adhesive. I really like this glue. I feel like it's the most cost-effective adhesive. And I want to get a fairly even amount of that blue peeking on both sides of this. I'll just kind of line it up with the bottom like that, and there we go. So I'm just going to give it a good press. You can go over this with your bone folder if you want to. And then I'm going to go ahead and add this to my card. And once again, I'm going to center it so I have a little white border on the right and left sides. And there we go. And again, I'm just going to pick it up and tap it since it's lining up with the top and the bottom of the card. There we go. That's my card base. All right, now I've gone ahead and I've punched out, I used my Heartfelt Hexagon die, and I punched out a white, just a basic white piece with this, and I did that because I think the white looks nice with the colorful background. So I thought that stood out just very nicely. I've already gone ahead and stamped my sentiment in Shaded Spruce. That's another one of the colors in the paper pack. And I die cut this out with my Essentials. These are my Nested Essentials these are Stylish Shapes dies. So these are my Stylish Shapes dies. I used this one right here. And I know for sure that these are hanging around. These will be in the next annual catalog, the 2025-2026 annual catalog. And for some of these, I've also been using the Nested Essentials dies, specifically this little guy for one of the sentiments. I really like that. Okay, so I need a decoration here. So here's how I'm going to lay this out. I need a little decoration, so I've got this piece of scrap, and the one butterfly I haven't used too much is this one right here. He's kind of the medium-sized one. So I want to do this, and I want to do a little bit of a technique on this, and I'm not sure which color combination I want to use on this, so I decided I would try 2 color combinations and see which one I like the best. So I'm going to do this one. This is Balmy Blue, and I'm just going to ink this up in Balmy Blue, just like this. Then I'll close this up, and I don't think I got that one spot on the wing there. All right, that looks like I have it better there. So that's Balmy Blue, and then I'm going to pull out Highland Heather. And I'm going to use one of my sponge daubers. So I'm going to pull that out. I'm going to pull one out for the other color combination. Now, when I'm done with these, I will label them. I have a little P-Touch label maker, and I'll just create a little label for them so that I can use them over and over. And that case came from Amazon, so I will share that with you. And for this one, I actually kind of liked the purple. And I just inked up my sponge dauber by dabbing it on my ink pad, and I'm just now dabbing it on top, and I'm doing it in the spot that I know to be sort of highlighted, and I kind of like that. I'm going to give it a huff like that. I just huff on it, and then I'm going to, ooh, that's a pretty color combination. So that's balmy blue, which looks almost green here, and the purple. Actually, I'm wondering if there's a little green or yellow. I think there might have been a little bit of yellow on my stamp to start with. It's kind of, that's really a pretty combination, and I do think that would look pretty on that card. So maybe I don't even need to bother with the second one, but no, with it, I do want to try out a second combination, and a stamped image never goes to waste. So I'm just going to clean this off on my stamp chamois, and let's try this color combination. So I've got Petunia Pop. This time I wanted to ink it up in the Petunia Pop. And I've got Blueberry Bushel. This is my favorite Stampin' Up! Blue, is this Blueberry Bushel. So I'm going to ink up my dauber, and then I'm just going to dab this on. And that's actually really bold. I can definitely see that. Give it a huff. Oh, that's also pretty. Wowee. Those are both really pretty. I actually really like this one here. So that's the one I'm going to go with. All right, so I'm going to fussy cut this out. And I'm going to save the other one for another card or the next card, because once I get started on making a set of cards, it's hard to stop, because I try different combinations of things, but I keep some parts simple, like the fact that I'm using the same layout for every single card is very helpful to me, because then I don't have to think about the layout. And this is a layout that I've used for a long time. Now, I should give you some tips about fussy cutting. Notice that when I hold my scissors, I'm pretty much holding my scissors in the same direction, but I'm using my left hand to turn the paper. And I try to keep the paper sort of moving, especially when I'm going around curves, so I don't get any sharp pointy spots. And the other thing too is I'm just kind of opening and closing my scissors, but I'm not really changing the direction of my scissors. My left hand is doing all the work. And I'm trying to also keep about the same amount of white around the edges. I have tried cutting right up to the edges, and I don't actually like that look. I've discovered that I like it much better when I leave a little bit of a white border. Now, some people like it cut right up to the edge of the image, and if you're that person, then that's what you do. But I really like that little bit of white border. For some reason, I seem to do a better job cutting it. And like you can see, I've got a fairly even amount of white. It's not perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's going to look that closely at it. All right, so let's put this together. So I'm going to put this heartfelt hexagon on a few dimensionals. I'm also going to add a couple dimensionals to the back of the sentiment. And I'm going to add one to the back of this butterfly. And then the other thing I want to do is I want to add some twine, and I'm thinking that I want to use this light blue. Now this is the Baker's Twine 3-color pack. I got this on the last chance list about a month or so ago. I don't believe there's any more of this twine left. There are other twines available though. There's this Pack Your Bags Twine 3-pack, which is a new release, and it's also got some great colors. I debated about using the blue and the green on this one, but I decided I wanted to go with a lighter one. Now I'm wondering if I should go with a medium. And I also have the Baker's Twine Essential pack. I like this a lot. This is like my second package of that. So I go through a lot of twine. It's my favorite thing to actually include. And I think I want to put the twine under the butterfly. So I'm going to remove these guys. I'm going to add this, so I'm adding it up a little above halfway. I just want it a little higher because I want to put this sentiment underneath it. And I'm going to add this right now. I don't want to push this down too hard until I make sure it's straight, and I don't know if I have the hexagon straight. Sometimes I just have to pick it up and look at it. Okay, there you go. Now I want to do this, and I'm going to put a couple of glue dots on here. Let's see if I can grab 2 glue dots. I'm just going to put one on each side. There we go. And then I'm just going to kind of wrap this around. A couple of times, 2 or 3 times, however many times you want to have. I just want a little twine there, and I'm going to go around this bottom one more time so I can have, actually, I'm going to there we go. I'll just cut it off. I can always trim it down more if I need to. And I can put more glue dots on there if I feel like it's not sticking well enough. So I'm going to remove that. And then I'm just going to add this, sort of center it on there. Like that. So that'll take care of that. And I do need a couple of embellishments. So I'm going to pull out this. These are the free celebration items. So I'm using stuff from the last chance rack, and I'm using some of the free celebration items, and celebration is over, so you can't get those items anymore. But I feel fairly confident that, like me, you have stuff in your stash that you can use instead. You don't have to go out and buy a whole bunch of new stuff. Now I've got a few left on this one sheet, and I'm trying to decide what color I want to use. I do love this bright. I've got one of those left, so I'm going to use this guy. Tuck it under here a little bit, and then let's put a couple of these up here. Like that. So it draws your eye, you've got your visual triangle, and it draws your eye around the focal image and the sentiment. So I really like that. I think I'm just going to transfer these to this page and get rid of this other package, this old package. There's something satisfying about using up a whole set of something. Finishing up a paper pack, using a whole set of embellishments. or something like that. So I love doing that. All right, so that's going to complete my card. Let me show you the other ones that I made. All right, so here's the one I just made for you. Here's one I made earlier. I used the largest butterfly, and I used, this is crushed curry and pumpkin pie. I really like that combination too. It's so hard, you put two colors together and they look gorgeous. Same color combination here, but this time I used the really busy front part of the paper, and I love it. Absolutely love it. I love the way it turned out. I'm using the same sequence in all of these different colors. There's 4 different colors on that sheet, and I used the same sentiment in that shaded spruce. Then I did a couple with really colorful, with one of the really colorful papers in that blueberry bushel. I used some white twine on this one. I used a piece of balmy blue, and this is the modern oval punch. I used the same die here, the Stylish Shapes die, and this is from the Nested Essentials dies. And this balmy blue paper I stamped with balmy blue ink, and I used the stamp of the little butterflies, and I really like that way, the way this came out. Same sequence, only the purple ones like here. This was the first card I made, and I did not love this one as much. It was the first one I made, and I wasn't feeling especially well a couple days ago, so I made just this one and let it sit. And what I didn't like about it was I didn't love the white oval because I didn't feel like it was popping. It was just too much white between the sentiment, the oval, and there was lots of white in that background. Plus, I had used Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape, and I didn't feel like the colors popped enough. That was when I realized I need to use 2 different colors to get the effect I wanted. I still used balmy blue here. For these, I stamped my sentiment in black. I used blueberry bushel and those bright petunia pop purples there. So I did go ahead and redo it, this time with the balmy blue in the back, and I used 2 different colors on my butterfly. Liked it so much better. That's what I continue to doing. So part of card making for me is really experimenting with different things. So I would just like to encourage you to experiment when you're making your cards. I just really had fun with this. It's very relaxing when you just let yourself try different things and see what you like. You don't have to love every card you make, but when you start out with a card and you're not super happy with it, but then you make a card that you like much better, it encourages you to try a few different ones. So there you go, a few different color combinations. I hope you enjoyed that. If you're interested in these products, I encourage you to check them out before the end of April, probably before that if they actually, I believe April 1st, the Last Chance products will be updated in on the Stampin' Up website, which you can find at shopwithkim.net. And you can find some really good deals on the Last Chance products. If you see these sketch butterflies, grab them. They're beautiful. And if you see the Full of Life paper, it's gorgeous. So if you don't like the patterns, the backs are just watercolor washes and in bright, beautiful, bold colors. So I really have had fun playing with these today. So friends, thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you find time to do a little something for yourself. Have a great day, friends.